So within IBM, when Ginny and her team launched the Think Academy, I think it was a month or two ago, you can't put this whole list of principles. So the team summarized it into 3 main areas. The first one is focusing on the outcome. Begin with clarity of the outcome. Ask your customer, what do they really want? What's the objective? What's the value that they want? Because then you will know what is waste and what is not waste. The next one is you iterate. You listen, iterate, learn, and course correct. You said all these words. They just came normally. This is what you did. Again and again, and in between you stop, you check, you go on. That's the second principle. The third principle is you self-direct and you unleash innovation. You don't control too much. Now this is going to be a bit difficult because we're all used to being told how to do things. Yeah? Give me the policy. Show me how to do it. Give me the detailed explanation of it. We can't hold it too tight, then it kills innovation. You can't hold it too loose, then you have chaos. So we have to find this balance and hold it lightly to encourage the teams to unleash innovation. And leadership is not in the hands of the manager and the manager's manager. It's in every one of your hands. So it's a completely different way of thinking. I know you're asking, yeah, that's fine, but how does this apply to me? And we're going to see that. We're going to see how you can use it, right? So we've got all the ones here. Is there anything that you missed? You didn't miss any single one of those. Just like that. I didn't even show you this before. Now, the values, we went through those as well, which sit underneath. So I want to ask you this. You all see these values, right? What are your values? You say, yeah, of course I respect people. But your values are not just your values. Your values are the values you walk past. Think about that. So, if you see somebody disrespecting someone else on the street or in the office, and you just walk past, that is your value, disrespect. It's a very important concept. This is the concept behind the team. And a great Australian general said this to his entire team because there was a lot of problems within the armed forces. And they said, yeah, we have respect and trust, but there was all this rubbish going on. Why? Because nobody was calling it out. They just walked past it. And we do that sometimes because it makes us feel uncomfortable. And that's where courage comes in. You have to call it as a team when you see it, right? So, very important. The values are the values you walk past. Now, many years ago, a great writer by the name of Patrick Lencioni wrote a book called The Five Dysfunctions of a Team. If you get a chance, please read it. It's a very thin book. You'd read it in an hour or two. And what he talked about is the concept of trust and how trust sits at the bottom of every organization. And if you don't have trust, you have a sense of invulnerability. So what that means is the more vulnerable you are, the more you are open, the more people trust you. That's almost an oxymoron, isn't it? Yeah? So you have to put yourself out there and dare to do something. You actually build trust as opposed to break it down. And if you don't have trust, then there'll be fear of conflict. So when you go for your meeting, you get what is called the kiss of yes. Yes, 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 yes. And everybody inside is going, no, 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 no. Yeah? So you don't have any discussion. There's no arguments. Yeah? You must have conflict, and I'm using the word conflict because there must be strong discussions with respect for each other on the subject. It shouldn't be personal conflict. This is conflict about a proposal, a suggestion. You have to discuss it hard with passion because that's where the magic happens. If everybody says yes, 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 no problem, nothing will happen. Yeah? Now, if you don't have this hard discussion and you have artificial harmony, then you will have ambiguity. It won't be clear. You left the meeting. How many of you sometimes go for a meeting and you think, what was that about? Does it happen sometimes? Sometimes it does happen. Yeah? And then you go, but did you? So you need the discussion. And then you get no commitment if you don't have that discussion. And finally, you don't get the results. So what happens? Everything at work is all about who's the boss, what did they say, how do I do this, how do I get my promotion, blah, blah, blah. It just becomes a mess. You don't want to work there. You don't want to work in a company like that. Nobody does. Yeah? You want to work in a place where there is trust and you can have a good discussion. You don't always have to be right, but you want to be able to say what you think. Yeah? And be committed, be accountable, and finally deliver great services. So, Agile, a list of values, a list of principles, and a whole stack of practices. Now there are hundreds of them, but we're going to go through just a few. And these practices actually change the behavior as you do them. You do a stand-up. You do a retrospective. How many have heard of a stand-up? Couple of hands. How many have heard of a retrospective? Also a couple of hands. So I'm going to show you a little bit what that means. And when you do that, you're automatically living these principles. And together that forms the culture.